at the end is the noon fatha with the alif, so that's too long. So you must pronounce that too long. Na. Here we have another one from our prayers. We have sirata. Okay, so the ra, fatha, alif. So that must be too long. You cannot say sirata. It must be sirata, too long. And below that is the Uthmani script. Sorry, in that case I've put the Majidi on top, Uthmani underneath. So the ra, fatha is followed by the short alif or dagger alif. Okay, so that's what it's called, short alif or dagger alif. Some people call it the vertical alif. It's just like a tiny little alif which is representing the long vowel alif. Examples of kasra ya. So we'll concentrate here on the last word. Again from your prayer, you've got nas, da, rin. So you've got the ain, kasra, ya. So that is the kasra ya. So that rin will be normally too long. We'll see later on in your prayer, you'll notice it's a lot longer than 2. There's a reason for that. But for now, the basic rule is kasra ya gives a length of 2. So that would be ri. And below we have the Majidi script. And one thing to notice, in the Uthmani script, they do not put the sukun on top of the long vowel ya or wow, and in the Majidi script they do. So here you see in the Majidi script we've got exactly the same word, but we have a sukun on top of the ya. Next one then, and again we'll just concentrate on the last word. So on the top we've got Uthmani script, below we've got Majidi, and we've got the long vowel kasra ya, again written in the alternate method. So we have bi, he, too long. So we've got ha with kasra followed by the alternate way of writing ya. Now in the Majidi script this changes again to something else. So what we have is bi, and you'll notice under the ha you have what looks like a short alif, but what they're indicating here is that the kasra is being extended by 2. So in the Majidi script they sometimes don't even write the alternate ya. They put a little vertical line underneath the letter, which is after the letter with kasra to indicate it's being extended by 2. So that's also bihi. Examples of dhamma waw. So we'll start with the top right. We've got Uthmani at the top, Majidi at the bottom. And this again is from your prayer. So you've got maghdubi. So the du, i.e. the dod, dhamma waw, long vowel waw, makes the du too long. So you've got dubi. And below we've got the same thing in the Majidi script. And again notice we've got a sukun on top of the long vowel waw. And the second one on the left, we've got again Uthmani at the top, Majidi at the bottom. And if we look at innahu, the ha with the dhamma is followed by the alternate way of writing the long vowel waw. It's like a tiny little waw. So that is also hu, too long. And again in the Majidi script they do it yet another way. So what they have is this sort of upside down dhamma on top of the ha, and that is indicating the hu, the oo sound, too long oo. So the elongated or lengthened oo sound. So it's just a matter of getting used to this, and best thing to do, stick to one script. It's useful though to have 2 Qur'ans, one in the Majidi and one in the Uthmani script, and compare them as you read, and it's quite an interesting exercise. Now we're going to talk about long vowels at the end of sentences. Okay, so the length of how you pronounce a long vowel can change in 3 different ways. So I've written here long vowel sounds at the end of a sentence or a pause. So this will apply if you just stop, and there's obviously rules to when you can stop and when you can't. So this is how to pronounce the lengths, because they do change. The first one then, last sound in a word, do not pronounce. Okay, so what we're saying here is if you stop, so we've got this small, we've got these 2 words, but if we concentrate on the last one, which is bihi, so you decide to stop or you're at the end of a sentence. So if the long vowel is the last sound in the word, then at the end of a sentence, or when you stop or pause, you do not pronounce the long vowel sound at all, and you don't actually pronounce the last sound at all. So normally this would be he. If you stop at the end of a sentence and this long vowel is the last sound in the word, then this would actually become bih. So you read the ha as if it's got sukun on it. So the kasra and the ya, i.e. the complete long e sound in this case, is not done at all. So that would simply would be bih. The second case, the letter after the long vowel is pronounced as sakin. We pronounce the long vowel as 2, 4 or 6 long. So what we mean here, so here we've got the word yunfikuna, and then we've got the end of the sentence, or we're stopping. Now this will be covered in another lesson, but in the case where we stop at this sentence or we pause, the last letter here, nun, which has got fatha, the rule for that would be it would be pronounced as if it's sakin. So now you've got the long vowel and the sound after it is sakin, and we're stopping. So in that case, you have the option to pronounce the long vowel, i.e. in this case the qu, as 2, 4 or 6 long. So we could pronounce this as yunfikun. We could say yunfikun, so that was 4 long, and yunfikun, 6 long. Okay, and you'll see this color coded in the Qur'ans. Okay, so essentially if the last sound after the long vowel is sakin, whether it is actually sakin or it becomes sakin because and you are pronouncing the long vowel, it can be 2, 4 or 6 long. And the last example is the letter after the long vowel has its own sound, pronounced as 2 long. So what we mean here, here's the example. We've got sa'ira. Okay, so that last ra is 2 long, and that will be covered in another lesson. However, pretend we're stopping. So effectively you've got the long vowel e, and then you've got another sound as you stop. Okay, so i.e. that last sound is not sakin. In that case, you just pronounce it as normal, 2 long. So that would be sa'ira, because that ra is 2 long as well. So if you've got a sound after the long vowel, which is going to take place when you stop or you pause, then you just read the long vowel as 2 long. So we look at some examples. So this one is long vowels not pronounced. So again, we've got the whole sentence here. We'll do the top one. So we've got the little jeem, and we've decided to stop. That will be covered in another lesson, these stop signs, but we're going to stop. So at the end here you've got rizqahu, and we decide to stop. So there's no, or the long vowel sound is the last sound, so we read that last letter as if it's sakin. So we'll just say rizqah. And down the bottom, another line, we've got bihi at the end, and we've got the stop symbol there if we decide to stop. So again, the he long vowel is the last sound, so we're just going to read it as bih. So we just read the ha as if it's sakin. So that will be bih.